Before I say anything, I want to make sure see if this is doing anything. Hmm. Yep, yep, yep. Well, I guess I learned a few things. I had set the chat to the live stream to, scheduled, and then my sound went haywire on the laptop, but I didn't want to reset it because the thing was set up, but I just learned how to reconnect to a live stream. So it's a learning process, I suppose. Sorry about that, but at least we don't have to make a whole new one, I guess. I don't know. It all started when I started to do it. It said I couldn't find the webcam on the laptop, and I don't have any time to figure out why that is. So I plugged in the cheap little external cam I have, but then that somehow goofed the sound. Ain't it fun? When I say I really do work for you guys, I'm not lying. And the fact that I'm not throwing things at a wall. Yeah, life's not always simple. Anywho, so it looks like we got sound now, right? John Griggs, J-Ro and I always called that Rodney. Like, we're going to go hang out with Rodney. Yeah, Rodney's sitting in the drawer next to me here, too. So, represent. Scott 79. The mic is still cutting out, you say? So, is the mic cutting in and out? Or are we good? The question is, which microphone is it picking up from? So, let me look on my computer here. These computers lie to you because it says it's using the headset, but I'm a cynical bastard. Okay, my sound recorder in Windows says headphone, the headset, and the live stream says headset. Doesn't mean anything. It could be completely lying to both of us. I don't know why it's in and out. I really don't because it should be through the headphone. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk to the other room. My headset's on me, so if it's picking up the microphone in the on this, it should be fine. So I'm gonna walk in here. So if you can still hear me talk, yeah, I just thought it might be good to do a live stream real quick while I had a minute. I'm kind of being lazy today. I had family here at the cabin the last 2 days, so first kind of chance I have. I can't do this, and there's folks around, notwithstanding Fox. So let me know if you heard that. Because I already went through the whole spiel once, and apparently there was no sound at all. Oh. At least I figured I had to reconnect to our live stream. That is actually useful information. Let me see what the volume on the mic set at too. It had the volume at 75%. Let me bump it up to 100 and see if that helps. It's strange. I put it up and it goes back down. Yeah, it just keeps moving it. I think it's just Windows being Windows. It definitely seems to be hearing me. Before we start asking gun questions, let's get the sound worked out. I see you're talking about Russian optics. Do I even need to say that I haven't a clue? So it seems like some it's cutting out for, some it isn't, which means it may be a problem on someone's end. I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm not there and you're not here. Of course, if we were at each other's places, we wouldn't need to fuck with this silly live stream. Now, would we? We could all just sit around a circle and hang out with Rodney together. That sounds nice. John Griggs, I completely agree with you on M1 carbines. I've always been a big fan. They kind of get a bad reputation for being a mouse gun, but they're not. I mean, that bullet, if you really look at its performance, isn't. It's basically the 57 Magnum. It's just because people expect 30-06, it kind of got a reputation. Hey, Joseph. Yeah, same to you, Joseph. Was everyone's Thanksgiving? My experience with JRA is mostly related to their Galeals and their BM59s. Haven't really done much with their AKs. John, when it comes to Polish stuff, it is good, be it the original or the modern FB or the WVP. Of course, you just have to make sure Pioneer, and I'm not even going to say, just know when something's Pioneer arms. Yep, I think the BM59, and not just in the gun, but also the economics. The Springfield promised, oh, we can use the same tooling and and modernize the M1 Grand and not spend a ton of money, and that didn't come true. Beretta actually delivered. They used M1 Grand, not just tooling, but parts, and brought it in on time and on budget. So far, when it comes to the JRA kit builds, I mean, they're better than like the Century for sure. But I think I'd go with the ATI builds myself. So people are wondering where DB Cooper is. Apparently here on a very small channel's live stream. How interesting. By the way, getting that money left, please share. DB Cooper, that is, because how many you jump out of the plane with? Joseph Anthony. One of the Springfield SA 35s. It's got me a little flack, not too much over the years, but I like Springfield. I know they gotten people didn't like what they did with some political money, blah blah blah. Springfield has delivered some pretty cool guns at a good price, and they've done things that some others haven't. Hey, Jonathan Isaac, thank you. Yeah, so far you're not. I get where that's coming from. So like when when James River did a good Galil, they were fine. Yeah, I get it. Galil, but the Galil builds have always been kind of sticky. They've always been chancy. Kingdom of Vinland, yeah, talking about that kind of AK furniture, that's definitely more of a Fox thing. You know me, I'm more traditional. That's the same. You should have put some into Apple, even like 20K into Apple, like that, like that scene in Forrest Gump. Boris, as far as Sega 12 spare parts, I haven't really needed any. I'd say the key ones, extra magazines. But if you really want to go there and you can get them, it wouldn't hurt to have, a spare bolt. I'd just get it, with a complete bolt just to have the extractor and all that. But in like the trigger group is pretty much standard, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, the only thing I've ever had to work on with my Sega 12 was the hammer, and again, pretty well standard AK part, so not a lot of worry there. Looks like Ryan's getting some of the furniture, doing the East German parts kit, huh? Yeah, those have there's been a lot of interest in those recently. Kingdom of Inland. What I mean by Fox thing is my cousin Fox. He's more into the modern tactical furniture than I am. Joseph Anthony. Yeah, and it's not even that I'm a purist. It's just I guess need. I just don't have the need, so why? Some more East German talk. Yeah, I haven't messed with the Mac 5 yet. Mostly looking to get the AP 53. That'll probably be the next one. Those should be in hopefully. Well, almost this month. We're almost into December now, so. So yep, yep. Like I said, I guess I did say, but I guess probably you didn't hear me. But yeah, any of the more in-depth questions, I'll kind of file away and do for the Q&A. Fox will be over here sometime middle of this coming week, and I don't know if we're going to do a live stream and then just insert the questions that come from Patreons and whatnot, or if we'll just do more of a traditional Q&A video where it's just a video we post. I'll ask him when he feels like. Yeah, Boris. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of broken parts, so it's hard to say. But of course, anything can and will break over time. But also, thanks, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving too. Yeah, Vinland. That's just yeah. Front toward enemy. Anyone out there that makes a solid American-made AK? It seems like that answer changes every year. But that's a good question. A good question to answer on the Q&A. Yeah, on the AP imports, I think I'd be cool with the G3K style if they could get up to 13-inch barrel. I'd be down, and more of the full length handguard, but basically kind of do a British G3K clone. I think that would be really fun. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I think the cabin's just kind of in its own space time continuum. Yeah, and I'm black box because for some reason it didn't want to detect the camera, and I didn't have time to mess with that. And then the sound went wonky, so I have no idea why. Just messing with me. Just messing with me. John Griggs. What's kind of fun today is when you say, "Have you got a set me?" You have to specify like a Model C 308 or a Model L 223. Powerful preps. Yeah, we'll see how long I'm here. I'm I'm not super excited about the AP51. I can tell you the price retail should be around 1600. John, 223 can be. Here's the thing: 308 you get one round, but 223 you can put like three holes in him at once. So it's like one big hole, three smaller holes. Yeah, I don't want to take that gamble. I don't want to get hit by any of them. So yeah, Sierra. Well, there's the set me out because of Marco Mar. If it just been left up to HMG, there'd be a couple of hundred, but Marco Mar has really done the set me all right, all the versions and types, and it is a really cool, interesting gun. Is it a go to war gun? Is it like the all around shit hits the fan gun? No. And Peanut just knocks something off. Don't worry, just because a cat has three legs does not mean she can't make messes. Trust me. It was either a roll of newspaper print or a rifle. John. True. Dave. No word at all, Dave, on the Pindad FNC. However, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I have heard word about one or two of the guys that are up for ATF director. Hopefully, Trump will pick one of them. If it's those, I've heard that they're really good guys and they're actually pro 2A. And I'm not going to get my hopes up. That happened to me at the end of 2016 with the whole hearing safe act, and nothing happened. But would it not be wonderful to have an ATF that was pro gun, and they realized their job was to actually just keep guns out of the hands of bad people and keep guns in the hands of good people? My point is, if we actually get a pro gun director of the ATF, maybe importation will become more fair and easier to do. At least something. Joseph, why would you worry about bolt gap in the PTR 91 GI? Just shoot it and enjoy it. People worry too much, guys. People worry too much. Just chill. I mean, if you start ejecting brass that looks wonky, guns let you know when something's wrong. They don't feel right. You get debris blowing back in your face. The brass comes out more mangled than ever. People worry too much. Life's too short to worry. Larry. Hey, thanks, Larry. I appreciate it. I don't know what 1-2 means. Uh, Powerful. Have I bought from Legacy? Yeah, not a whole lot, but some. I think my Car 98A came from them, for example. Here's the problem with the Russian ban, John. It goes both ways. We could lift our end, but Putin would have to meet us halfway. It's not like he's some innocent flower that's being victimized. Putin is not a nice man. So there had to be some change on that end too, because it's not just what we allow in; it's what's allowed out of the country. Yeah, in Russia's case, it is. Sierra, the '98 reg that was basically on a low cap, was actually just an addendum to the '89 Bush executive order that banned them. So you'd actually have to get rid of the '89 thing to get rid of it. Thanks, Chris. Israeli heavy barrel with bipod. I do need to pick back up on the FAL videos and get to the Israelis. I do have my L1 out, L1A1, the British out here with me. If I get time, I'll shoot it. Dave, maybe. The barrel ban was an '05 thing, and it was more of an ATF administrative thing, so I guess in theory they could. Kingdom of Inland. New York is. Mm, Speaking of New York, my cat is named Peanut, and of course that whole thing, and yeah, of course I've had her for 8 years, so no relation. But yeah, New York has problems, and it's sad because I actually really like New York people, even in the city. A lot of the folks I met there when I lived there were really nice people, but meh, sofa. No, I'm not gonna keep one of the Sim 5 SF guns sofa. I'm just gonna keep the regular Sam 5, the one I've had for a while, and then I'm keeping the Sam 7 SFC. So, that's just how it goes. Can't keep everything. Wish you'd let me know you're looking for one. I still got one or two left. I could have made you a deal. Joseph Anthony. Yes, you do need more 7.62 39 ammo. You can never really have too much ammo. Kingdom of Inland. And you're absolutely right. That was another thing. And I figured you guys, I know you're smart enough to know it, but I mean, they're fighting Ukraine. They don't have enough rifles for their own troops. So even if things stabilize, and I'm not sure they will. I'll just say this, and I'll leave it at that. I think we have a better chance with better relations under the incoming administration than we would the other, but I don't know that either one is really realistic because we can meet Russia halfway, but Putin has got to stop doing some of the stuff he's doing. He really does. Like he's just not acting right. I mean, he's hurting his own country as much or more than even Ukraine. So that's got to stop one way or the other. And it honestly deeply affects me. I've been to Ukraine. I've lived in Russia. I care about those people, and folks are suffering. Joseph Anthony. Yeah, FALs are really fun. The current DSAs, I feel like DSA has kind of gone back to form this year. I've spoken with them. I've even asked them if they'd want to like get some of the guys to come on here and do an interview. They saw some of the problems they had a few years ago, and beginning around 2018, 2019, they started trying to go back to their roots, but then of course COVID happened, so now 23, 24, they're kind of going back to classic FALs, back to forged receivers, at least on some guns. And I've sold maybe 50, 60 this year, and feedback has been very good. John Griggs, feed more plants. Larry, Sierra. Yeah, exactly. It's a great example, Germany. It really is because we can open up the things, but if they're not willing to export or even able to under their, that's why Switzerland's actually easy to get guns out of. You notice Dave's still bringing in guns with longer barrels and all that stuff because Switzerland is pretty open to that stuff. Chris, you better love peanut. No one hurts my peanut. I will go like Chinese blind monk John Wick if anyone hurts my cat. Yeah, the WBP Jack video will probably be coming out pretty soon, and we tried it with Monarch and Wolf just to kind of get a baseline, and then we ran it with Tella, the Azure Bazani stuff, and we're gonna see if she'll rust. I'm not gonna let it get too rusty, but to see if it starts to form and whatnot. But I'm not gonna immediately clean it and see what happens because we all need to kind of know. Larry. Well, hopefully the tele ammo can get its situation straightened out. I will say it ran perfectly, and the ammo looked nice. Like the ammo wasn't all cruddy or out of spec. It looked good, clean ammo. Michael Birdsong. Hey, Power for Preps. No history selling on eBay. They're so against guns that, and you're not wrong about what they take. People complain about gun broker taking a percentage, myself included, sometimes, but they're nothing compared to eBay, frankly. Yes, China is absolutely playing Russia. If you go back on my personal channel, I'm going to say I called it when the Ukraine war started. China has been taking advantage everywhere they can, supporting Russia just enough, but also not in a way that helps Russia. Trust me, they're not doing it out of the kindness. They're getting their tentacles into Russia deeper and deeper every day. And you know what? I can't even blame them. Russia showed weakness, and China's taking advantage of it. Finland. No, 545 isn't the superior cartridge. It's a lot of fun. It's unique, but 556 is a really good cartridge. And frankly, with all the various loadings we've got, 545 is not. But it's a really good cartridge. It's just not. Michael Bertong. Yeah, 7.6239 is starting to loosen up. Thank goodness. Sofa. Oh, the Gendarmerie. Yes, that was those were cool kits. Chris. Honestly, gotta be honest with you, the 1965 SP1 is kind of retired from shooting. Um, if any parts broke on it, not saying they would, but like the Bakelite furniture, that stuff's getting aged, and I would just cry if we went and shot it and I found a hairline crack. And I have the M16A1, which for how it shoots would be absolutely identical. The A4, I actually had it out last time back on around Labor Day or after with Fox. We didn't do a lot of shooting footage with it, but we shot a couple of rounds, so that was actually already out here. J-Ro might try to come out this week if work allows, but his new job has had him running around like crazy. It should slow down, but Sierra, the FAL is expensive, but you can get like a baseline DS arms for under 1,500 brand new. You can get a used one sometimes for as cheap as 1,000. But yeah, it is an old world type gun, machined receiver, very nicely fitted. Yeah, it's not stamped steel and welding. It's just the old way of doing things. On the other hand, it is a very much buy once, cry once kind of gun. And mags are available, spare parts are available. So once you do spend the money, you shouldn't have to worry about it. And thanks to its adjustable gas system, you should be able to shoot pretty much any ammo you want. Vinland, do I agree that the AK-74 is no, I don't. The AR is still lighter. The AR still has better ergonomics, last round hold open, drop free mags, and the the AR has proven itself to be more upgradable and modernizable in the future. If you look at like Russia's AK-12 versus like an M4A1, one is just you can tell has stuff bolted onto it in any way they can. And frankly, the AR is better suited to modern manufacturing techniques. Back in the 60s, yeah, AKs are cheaper to make than ARs, but with CNC tooling and the high cost of actual hand fitted labor, it's really kind of flipped where you can make an AR cheaper today than an AK for the most part. JC9. China, Europe, amongst other things, yes. China is getting resources much cheaper and probably lots of other stuff we don't even know about yet. Yeah, you're not wrong. People have this attitude about, oh, it's all about what happens in America. No, what happens in foreign countries matters just as much. Of course, Russia's going to need money, and the U.S. has dollars. Yeah, our economy is not as good as it was before COVID, but we're still pretty much the strongest economy in the world because COVID was a global thing. Yep, and the AR can be a lighter gun. Of course, if you bolt a bunch of stuff onto it, it's going to get heavy, but the same thing goes for the AK. The thing about everyday basic survival is you're in America, and spare parts for the AR are going to be much more plentiful than AK. A Madi or a Mac 90, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Chinese AK fan. I would say a Madi does take all standard AKM parts, whereas a Mac 90 sometimes takes Chinese specific parts. I mean, my personal preference would still be a Madi myself. Larry, Future on the Grot, hard to say. I don't think we'll see it in 2025, maybe 2026. Again, it's not just America, it's Poland, and FB is still kind of fulfilling contracts over there. So it really just kind of boils down to when they feel like they have the time and ability to fulfill orders over here. Powerful reps. Yeah, just make sure they don't get too dusty because dust can get moist and that attracts rust and ugh. Yeah, the Mac 90 hybrids are pretty easy to spot though. They have the weird features like the ported gas tube and they look like shit. Front toward enemy. Well, that would work as long as they're all taking the same parts because each AK can be its own pattern. Sofa Kingdom. Yeah, I was asking about the M72 just day or two before Thanksgiving, and I mean, there's still a month left in the year. I don't know. To be fair, it was always scheduled for the fall of 2024, so if it gets pushed back to the winter of 25, that's kind of par for the course, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Vinland. I completely agree. Everyone goes gaga paying all this money for these weird ass pig together AK-12 builds here, and it's not that great. It really isn't. Joseph Anthony. I mean, yeah, Knights Armament rails are still a thing. I don't, they're not the newest and greatest, but they work and they're simple. I think what kind of keeps them going is they're sturdy and they can just go on to any AR. You don't have to have a different barrel nut. You don't have to change your front sight base. You can just slap it on anything. 74 spare parts set. Like I said, if anyone's got kind of bigger questions to drop here, I'll keep them for the Q&A later on. So, yeah, hey. Sorry, just looking at something on my computer here. Looks like it's a little after 9:30. Like I said, I've got quite a bit I need to do today. Plus, I'm just kind of tired after the holidays, so I'll probably stay on to about 10, guys. Sorry the start was a little rocky, but that's just par for the course these days. Computers for you. Being honest, I think it was a Windows update. Those have been goofing me up a lot lately. Yeah, the AK-74 is the better comparison, but on the other hand, the AKM is kind of what everyone thinks of, and yeah, yeah. I've even done videos about that in the past, kind of saying the AK-47 AKM gets compared to that, but really it should be compared to the FAL or the M14 because those are contemporaries. Each of them kind of having their deep roots in the late 40s and going forward into mass production in the 50s, 60s. Sierra? Yep, the AK-12 was pretty kind of a fart in the wind. Is it worth converting a Saiga? That's up to you. I've always been of the mindset that so many of the Sega conversions are pretty half-assed, frankly. If it were me and I had a Hunter Sega, I think what I would do, I would definitely make sure it took standard mags. So, you know, convert the mag catch, convert the feed ramp. And I think I would go ahead and move the trigger group forward because the factory Hunter trigger kind of just sucks and the factory stock kind of just sucks. So I'd take the time to move the trigger group forward, buttstock, pistol grip. I think I'd stop there. I think I'd leave the front end alone for the most part because functionally it's fine. If you do have a threaded barrel and it's just covered up by one of those protectors, I'd cut it off too. The protector, not the barrel. Don't cut your barrel. Yeah. And I think I just enjoyed it as it is, personally. Or I'd try to sell it and get an actual SGL from Arsenal slash Fine. Good question though, and I'll definitely address it on the Q&A too. Nope, it is not just you. Talking to actual what importers do, they often send scouts around the world, and they'll look at arsenals and archives and things, and they'll deal with governments. Trust me, there's just not that many old AKs that are out there left to grab. Either the ones that exist are just used up, or they're still in service, or the country is not one we can deal with. There's a lot of countries, in Africa, some in Asia that we just can't get guns out of for legal reasons or even transport reasons. But eventually, even when you make the gun in the millions, even tens of millions, they run out. Look at the Mosin Nagants. They made so many of those, and even those are drying up on the import front. And sometimes the foreign people that have them just want too much money because they have internet too. Finland. Yeah, the AK-12, they have done some factory upgrade kits and things over there, starting as early as 2015. But they also are working on all new projects and all new things. KC is always kind of doing that. Yeah, the problem with the Bakelite mags, Joseph, they were only really made by Russia and East Germany, and they were a brief period in time. I mean, for example, the 76039s were only made by Russia, and they started in 68 and they quit making them by, let's say, 82, just pulling a number. But so they made them for a few years. The 74, they started making them around 73 and they stopped around 82. So it's just a brief period in time, and eventually they run out. Plus a bunch of them got sold for 10 bucks back 25 years ago when no one wanted them. Actually, the unconverted Saiga is a product of Russia. When they were trying to bring over the Saiga and comply not just with US law but Russian export law, that was the configuration that met it. It actually was not developed specifically for the US market. That's why it has funky features like the trigger group moved to the rear and that Monte Carlo style stock. If you want to see a gun that was made as close to US law as possible, look at the SGL 2021, those. Cody, how often is well, FUG is selling them, but the importer today is B&T USA, and it seems like they bring over a couple of hundred a year right now. Sierra RS. I think the unconverted Segas are worth something for being, a snapshot in time. But I think another is if someone wants to do a conversion themselves, they'd rather start from that base and not mess it up. Because again, I've seen a lot of hack job conversions that it takes more time and money to fix them than if you just started off with a basic hunter. Rusty Carbine, hello, you bought something from me this week. Oh yeah, I didn't scroll down. I'm like, I recognize your name. So I didn't seriously. I just read that. Um, where am we at here? Oh! I need to move anyway. Actually, I take a whiz, but I can't show guns on here. But I think I can sound guns. That's not the one you bought, but I did bring another one like it. I had three come in, and plan on shooting it while I'm out here. I'm gonna grab a drink of water. No, that's a good gun. It's actually out of the Wilson archive. Came directly from them, and I think they were needing some money because they sold off some stuff pretty good price. Because normally the retail price on that gun, brand new, is over 4K. Because Wilson, JC9, AN94. Those are rare. They never made that many. But I remember back in the 90s, that was going to be the next Russian gun. Everyone was so for sure. And then they had an economic collapse in 98. Hey, thanks, Joseph. I don't know about next 100 years, but yeah, I would not be banking on seeing Russian imports for a good long while for all the reasons we've discussed. Dave, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. There was a model of Saiga that had a really good looking front end, even regular handguards. That's how it was imported because there's no reason it had to have the Hunter furniture. That's just how Ishesk, Ishmash, Kalashnikov Concern made it. Kingdom of Inland. I don't know if it's even the military wants with the AK-12. That's what happens when you have essentially a dictatorship and there's actually not like open free bidding. It wasn't like there was a competition and Casey went up. Yeah. Front towards enemy. Yeah, I hate that U.S. refinished wood crap. Just leave it alone. Even if it's, a little dinged up, yeah, just call it a battlefield pickup and go on with life. Now, if it's like completely, bulging from water and just like damaged, okay, do what you have to do to fix it. But other than that, leave it alone. Larry, Joe Little. I don't know what we'll see from Ukraine. First, that disgusting war needs to end. Second, they need to rebuild. There's a lot of ifs there, and it depends if they feel like they need money from America more, or if they want to hang on to all the guns they've got in case something else happens. Yep, transit went way up after COVID or during COVID, I should say, and then just hasn't come down. Any chance of burial kits coming in? I don't think so because they're still switching over to the grot. I have a feeling with again the Russian aggression until that dies down, Poland's probably just going to hang on to most of their real stuff, even if they stick it in reserve, because better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? Now we might see some earlier generation parts. In fact, the reason we saw like a lot of stuff in the WZ96A and the WZ96B was a couple of years back they had a big program where they brought their earlier Bereals in FB did like a factory modernization with the newer furniture and newer rails. And when that happened, a lot of the surplus stuff got sold off. Yeah, the only countries that did the steel AK-74 mag were Poland, which was just for a couple of years for the Tanto before they went to the polymer, and even that was just a couple of years before they went to the nothing because they declared the Tanto obsolete. And more importantly, Romania. They made, use, and still use steel mags in their PA-86. Russia always used polymer. East Germany always used polymer. Bulgaria always used polymer. There you have it. Yep, I agree with you on that. And you're right. That tends to be the answer. We probably won't see them selling off most of their barriles until the grot itself is looking to be phased out, and then they'll cycle it through. We've actually seen that with Italy. We didn't start seeing the AR 7090 kits well until the ARX 160s day, and now they're even talking about what to replace it with. I don't know though. The Wasser is still out there, but man, it's I don't know. Something's changed with the Wasser. It's hard to say. Joseph Anthony. Nice, yep. Kingdom of Vinland. Yeah, the AK-12 mags. They are cool. Yep, Chris. Yeah, the SL8. I don't know. That was a different time because that got approved a long time ago. If it were to be done today, I think it'd be a little different. But again, that was partially just Germany being Germany too. Kingdom of Vinland. Eh, maybe. Sierra. The U.S. market, and this comes directly from, is just another market. It is not a priority. I promise you. Foreign manufacturers look at the U.S. market as gravy. Hey, if we're making 100,000 guns for a military, let's make 10,000 for the U.S. too. WPP is kind of the exception because they're a commercial manufacturer. At least they started off that way. But your big factories like Arsenal, FB Radom, even Zastava, nah, we're not their primary thing. Basically, we're like they're a fair partner. They might lavish us with love and attention on the weekends and give us the best, but throughout the rest of the week, they go back home to their other spouse, which is usually their own government. JC9. Ukraine's got a lot of stuff. Keep in mind that Ukraine was part of the USSR, the Soviet Union, so when it broke apart, Ukraine inherited a chunk of that war machine. Is my SASM7 internals? Not really. Those, if I'm thinking of the right one, you mean the classic ones. Those were put together in Arsenal's custom shop in Las Vegas. So they usually didn't serialize the parts because the parts came over as virgin Bulgarian parts. So you don't typically see a lot of serials on the purely U.S. assembled guns. Ukraine may not have had small arms production, but they had helicopter production. I mean, again, they got some of the stuff. They also had aircraft production facilities. So I'm pretty sure if you have an aircraft factory, you can manage to make guns. Let's see. Any? Milsart Beretta M9s. No, no, they're not. I think the U.S. government would find that politically eh. Plus, most of them got used up, and the ones that were in all right shape often got given away or sold to foreign allies. Yeah, exactly. Good point. They just released the 1911s they had left, and they just held on to them for reserve. The Ukrainian factory I'm aware of is the Fort factory. They worked with the IWI on some stuff. They had some pistols. Who knows? Maybe if they can ever get to peacetime. Yep. Oh yeah, there's tons of law enforcement Beretta 92s. Absolutely. Mr. Rosario's class. How do you know if you have the wrong gas block on your Sam 5? Oh, you probably have the right gas block. The problem with those was molded with the gas port drilled in the barrel. So your gas block's probably Jim Dandy. It's more to do with how big is the gaping hole in your barrel that leads to it. I don't know if they do 74s. They might do something else, but yeah, we'll see. I hope we get to the point where that's something we can at least seriously hope for because Ukraine, the people living there, they need a break. They need this war to end. There's just been a lot of tragedy. Kingdom of Inland. Yeah, sort of. Bullpup AKs. I've tried to love them, but they're a thing. Joseph, yep. I'm probably going to be heading pretty soon too, but good night to yourself. Have a good the rest of your weekend, and should be busy next week working on stuff. I'm going to take tomorrow to relax a bit, and then get to work on making some videos to round out this year 2024. Yeah, there's that weird thing about cutting those bayonets up from Ukraine. I don't know exactly why that happens. It definitely is happening, but I don't know the legal reason. I haven't really looked into it, but it is pretty crappy. I don't know. You could probably go Google it, but I know Fort has some IDBI products on their roster, so I think it's supposed to be a manufacturing facility. They might have an adjustable gas system. I don't. Yeah, so a lot of things do. The page. I don't know what that means. I will say that when I got this laptop, it has 32 gigs of memory, and the Dell representative argued with me that I'd only need 16. But my speech uses so much memory, so I don't know. I don't know. But it did the same thing out here last time, but never anywhere else before. It's really peculiar. And I don't have any other windows open. So I don't know. No, I don't know. Again, I don't. Chris, I don't know why it keeps running out of memory. I don't know. I need to upgrade my speech software. I think is the culprit. It's getting weird. Anyone else out there? I'm gonna restart my speech too. See what that does. It can be ornery sometimes, and by sometimes I mean all the time. Restarting the speech software. Like I said, I'm probably gonna go pretty soon anyway, just 'cause I got stuff I want to do. Plus, I don't want to push it too hard. I'm tired, folks. I am tired. Also, getting hungry. Sofa Kingdom. Thanks much, Sofa. Uh, I wonder if it's because I keep popping out the chat. I don't know. Hey, John. LimeWire. Yeah, I don't know. I was popping out the chat. I think it's just it gets too much. I'm not entirely sure. And I do keep a clean computer, although this one doesn't have the biggest hard drive in it. And I have been doing video editing, so it could be one of those like virtual memory things too. Yep, dinner is starting to sound pretty good, Chris. So anyone got any last minute things, folks? Either to ask me tonight or to give to the Q&A in here in a few days. Let me know. Finland, the problem is, would it be worth setting up? Would it be an economically advantageous venture? And with the way the gun market's been in America this last little while, it's a pretty slow, low market. So it's difficult. Dave. Yeah, same to you, Dave. I mean, you can buy a Tiger rifle right now. It's going to cost you about 7,500 or 8,000. Doopy doopy doopy. Anything else, folks? Before I go cook myself some dinner. Yeah, this computer is definitely asking for a restart. It's very slow. CRRS. Yeah, I thought the Fort 12 pistol was kind of neat too myself. Yeah, that there was if there was a 9 by 18 available in the U.S., you'd see me having it. I think they're pretty neat. Hey, Detective John. Yeah, appreciate it. Oh no, I've seen well-worn tigers, including ones that were shot with the corrosive ammo back in the day. But I think most of those have kind of gone through, and the ones left are safe coins. No, they weren't 3,000. They were more like 1,500 in the 90s. I mean, which was still a shitload of money. Don't get me wrong. That's why it kind of cracks me up when everyone's like, "Oh, the FD18, the HD18 should be 3,000." And it was never going to be that cheap. I told you when I was in Russia in '08, a bare bones Tiger, one mag, no scope, in Russia was $700-800 in Russia, and that was when the exchange rate was very favorable to the U.S. dollar. Thanks, thanks, Kingdom of Vinland. How do you know if your Sam5 has the right gas port? Honestly, and I don't mean this to be flippant, go shoot it. Shoot your gun. The truth is, I think it is an issue, but this is what I would say. Have you heard of people being hurt? Have you seen guns exploding? I think it's often just a cosmetic thing. There are fixes. I mean, you can either put one of the restrictor donuts in your gas block, you can put a KNS gas piston if you like, or you could go the cheap and easy route, which is kind of my at least first step, is to put a maybe a little bit stronger recoil spring in it. At the end of the day, though, I'm not sure it's hurting a whole lot aside from just making the rear view receiver look ugly. Although I know some people have reported having it difficult to remove their dust covers and stuff. So go out and shoot it and see. It also matters which ammo you're shooting with too. If it's extra hot 5.56 or it's like Wolf, which is often kind of light loaded. 7.62 talk pistol kind of reminds me of some of those things that North Vietnam made. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. My first car, yes, I actually had a car so my friends could drive me around, was 1,500. So you're absolutely right. A gun back then was a couple $100 gun, and that was it. Spicy Sam. All right, guy, last call for questions or donations, and then I'm gonna restart this. That was my mistake. I let the computer go to sleep, turned it off earlier, thinking I'll clear. I know that some Microsoft update came through and just goofed everything up. Yeah, they bug me. Anyway, last call here, and then I'm gonna call it good. And me and Miss Peanut are gonna go make some dinner. Get a Mac, huh? Yeah, I'm sure I'll try one out. Unfortunately, the problem with Linux is it doesn't really have great support for speech software. Yeah, that presents its own issues. Yeah. Yeah, I've got quite a few guns out with us at the cabin. I did bring out the HD-18 if I get time to shoot it, and I did bring out the L1A1. Got that Wilson Combat. Got a P38. It's one of the post-war, people would want to call them a P1, but they are marked P38 because they're police guns. Thought that might be kind of fun. Um, few other little things like that. And again, nothing too crazy. The one new gun is that WBP and 545. There's just not a whole lot of new, and of course, money. New stuff costs these days. So I almost brought the Sam 7 SFC out again, but featured that last time, so it'll probably get in the docket for the next go round because I'm sure I'll be out around Christmas too. But I'm hoping to get a good, decent amount of shooting in this coming week. Just wasn't able to do it throughout the month of November because of deer season. So, but that's over now. And we'll get back to it. And then hopefully after Christmas, the schedules of everyone will kind of loosen up too. Rosero's class, yeah, good night to yourself. Sierra? Yeah, I think these that came in, and you'll see the video. I just thought we'd shoot one, but yeah, they're nice and clean with a little bit of honest wear. They're Walther made, and yeah, it is underappreciated for what it is. Then again, you know me, I'm not going to say much bad about a Walther. Unapologetic. Yeah, I brought the HD-18 out because I finally got bored enough and put the military style front sight base bayonet lug flash hider on it. So it's pretty well converted over to SVD 63. But I still think I want to go with the wood buttstock and polymer handguards appearance. I just like that look. That's a good point. Yeah, Makarovs are at times more expensive, not like rare ones like Russian military, but like regular Russian commercial or Bulgarian military are the same or more money than a freaking P1. That is an excellent point, and I'm going to use that in the video. I will steal that from you because never quite thought of it, but you're absolutely right. In fact, P1s today, P38s, are about the same price they were when I bought mine over 20 years ago. I think I paid 400 for mine. Today they're about 500. Okay. Yeah, 500 a day is a little more, but if you adjust for inflation, it's actually maybe cheaper. Yeah, and the SVDs, I'd say, yeah, fully demand. It's just I've had that front sight for a while and finally just decided to do it. I knew one day I would. It was neat with the Tiger style flash hider. I kind of like the look of it. It's a little more different, but yeah, it was time to get it done right. Hope I have time to get out and shoot it this week. I had to prioritize the WBP, of course. I would say, yeah, get a P1, get any kind of surplus while they're still coming in. There were some good deals on like Beretta 92s a few years ago. But all right, guys, appreciate everyone on this interesting, definitely completely problem-free live. Hey, at least I learned how to reconnect, so that you know it was a learning experience. I'm gonna restart the computer and see what freaking update Windows did, and it'll probably work perfectly now that I don't need it to work. But yeah, I'm gonna cut off here, do some dinner, and stay tuned for the Q&A. I'll let you know if it ends up being a live stream or if it ends up being regular video. Probably just depends when we plan to do it. If it's like 2 p.m. on a weekday, it'll just be regular video. But if it happens where Fox is ready to record it at 8 p.m. on Wednesday night or something, then we might make it into a live. And again, check out Patreon. I'll be probably posting the WVP video over there first and then later on YouTube. And yes, we still have one more Japanese video, so check those out because I kind of got off on a tangent with those. But I had fun, so hope you do too. Eh, all right, folks, I'm going to shut this down. Oh, now it's going to make it. Now it's going to be difficult. Finally, it's letting me end. I tell you, YouTube moved everything around too. All right, everyone. Good night. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and look forward to some. Well, hope you look forward to it. Anyway, new videos coming up. Probably get through December and then go on a little break in January because it's been a slog since we kind of came back in September. But getting through. All will be well. Thanks, everyone. Good night.